I am going to be starting this episode with one of the songs by Kabir Cafe, and I feel this song is very important to continue our chapter 1 readings of Shri Sai Satcharitra. And support me here. I'm not a singer, so this is my first time that I'm singing, but there's a lot of relevance in the song. This song has been written in Hindi. I will try and translate this song also for you. However, this song has a lot of relatability with how and what we are going to decode in chapter 1 of Shri Sai Satcharitra. So forgive me if I am slightly off tracking myself and work with me here. This is how the song says. मत कर माया को अहकार, मत कर काया को अभिमान, कायागार से कांची। मत कर माया को अहकार, मत कर काया को अभिमान, काया गार से कांची। हो कायागार से कांची, ओ जैसे ओसरा मोती। झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी। ऐसा सख्त था महाराज जिसका मूल को पेराज, जिन घर झूलता हाथी, हो जिन घर झूलता हाथी। ओ जैसे ओसरा मोती, ओ जैसे घर दिया ना बाती। झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी, काया धूल हो जासी। छूट गयो सिंघाड़ो रे तेल, बिखर गया सब निज खेल, बुझ गई दिया की बाती, हो बुझ गई दिया की बाती। ओ जैसे ओसरा मोती। झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी, ओ काया धूल हो जासी। झूठा माई थारो बाप, झूठा सखल परिवार, झूठी कूटता छाती, ओ झूठी कूटता छाती। ओ जैसे ओसरा मोती। बोले या भवानी हो नाथ, गुरु जी ने सर पे धरियो हाथ, जिनसे मुक्ति हो जासी। बोलियो भवानी ओ नाथ, गुरु जी ने सर पे धरिया हाथ, जिनसे मुक्ति हो जासी। हो जिनसे मुक्ति हो जासी। जैसे ओसरा मोती, झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया तेरी झूल हो जासी। मत कर माया को अहकार, मत कर काया को अभिमान, काया गार सी कांची, काया तेरी गार सी कांची, झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी, ओ काया धूल हो जासी. So essentially, a lot of human emotions have been shared in this poetry. The poetry just says that Maya, the world of capitalism, the world of diamonds, the world of beauty, the world of construction, the world of luxury goods, this is all called Maya. And Maya as a terminology has been used, capitalism and money used leads to ahankar. Ahankar means egoism, and the whole poetry is talking about the quality of an egoistic person that is created by the illusion of this worldly pleasures. And the poetry is talking about don't be too proud of the illusion of this world, and your whole existence is as delicate as gar, which is gar gum, and it's like a os ka moti. Os ka moti essentially means that it's beautiful. It's a beautiful analogy that the singer gives. Uh, in the morning, when we wake up and we look at the small leaves, it has very little dewdrops, and those dewdrops actually look like a beautiful pearl when we wake up. However, it is very short lived. The pearl disappears with time. So essentially, that's what the reader is trying to tell us, that life and life forms is definitely something that has a lot of emotions attached to it. And while we are navigating this world of Maya, the world of illusion, we end up creating a lot of karmas. And essentially, I mean, it also gives an example of a lamp, and the wick of the lamp. And it also gives you an example of one of the kings who was exceptionally well to do, and who was achieving a lot of territory and wealth and power, fame, name. He's comparing that elephant would swing at the king's house. It's also saying that the different relationships that we've built in the world of Maya and illusion, our parents, our spouses, our friendships, our relatives, these are all a part of the illusion. And it's also saying when Guruji, your guru, blesses you, it is easier to walk through the rivers and illusions of this world. Cause Hinduism believes that we are a soul, and the soul never takes birth or dies, and a portion of the soul keeps reincarnating to experience life on this planet, and a portion of the soul is learning its lessons and it goes back to the higher soul. Ultimately, Hinduism talks about life in the form of reincarnation, and Hinduism also talks about life in the form where we as humans we change bodies like we are changing clothes. And it talks about that every birth is connected to us, because we are supposed to learn something from this birth, and we are supposed to evolve as souls and then go back to our higher souls and then reincarnate. And ultimately, while we reincarnate on this planet Earth, a lot of times we forget our soul purpose and we get lost in the world of Maya and illusion. So essentially, this is what the whole topic is of chapter 1. And now coming back to our chapter 1 of Shri Sai Baba's Sai Satcharitra, the chapter was the story of grinding wheat and its philosophical significance. After describing in brief the various modes of devotion according to Parashar, Vyas, Chandilya, etc., the author goes on to relate the following story. It was some time after 1910 that I went one fine morning to the masjid in Shirdi to have darshan of Sai Baba. This is something that the viewers should understand and know, and I'm sure you'll be aware about that a lot of Hindus pray to Shirdi Sai Baba. However, no one knew the religion of Shirdi Sai Baba, and Shirdi Sai Baba took birth in India, in Maharashtra, at the time when there were a lot of casteism, there was a lot of religious battles amongst humanity at that point in time. So this is the beauty of Shirdi Sai Baba, and that's where the learning starts. So Hemadpant is saying that sometime after 1910, one morning he goes to the masjid in Shirdi. Baba would live in a masjid and he wanted to do Shri Sai Baba darshan. I was wonderstruck to see the following phenomena. After washing his mouth and face, Sai Baba began to make preparations for grinding wheat. Now we all know that Sai Baba lived a life of a fakir. A fakir is someone who is believed to be a traveler. You could also call it a hippie, or you could also call it a gypsy, and someone who did not hold any kind of belongings, roots, formal educations, degrees, or who did not dress up to impress, or who did not have a beautiful chandelier in their house, or a lot of luxury goods. Now, Shri Sai Baba, as per Sai Satcharitra, or as per my understanding of reading from spiritual text, did not have any family known to the readers living in Shirdi. So it is surprising that Shirdi Sai Baba is preparing to grind wheat, because he is not someone who is a planner who will go to a superstore and plan his entire weekly, monthly groceries and cook his large amount of meals and all of that, right? So it's surprising to read that he's preparing for grinding wheat. So which means he's forward planning, and definitely he's forward planning for storage, it looks like. He spread a sack on the floor and thereon set a hand meal. So essentially in the older India, he took a sack which was made out of jute ropes on the floor, and there was a stone mill that he put on top of that, And increasingly, you will see that Shri Sai Baba lived a life of minimalism. He lived a life of sustainability, and he lived a life of absolute sheer simplicity and bare minimum. He spread a sack on the floor and thereon set a handmill. He took some quantity of wheat in a winnowing fan, and then drawing up the sleeves of his kaffani and taking hold of the peg of the hand mill, started grinding the wheat by putting a few handfuls of wheat in the upper opening of the mill and rotating it. Okay. Now, Shri Sai Baba used to wear a white color robe. Sort of a robe is essentially connected to Sufism, and a robe is like a long dress. He would just put it and wear it on top, and that is what he wore all his life. It was a simple robe, white color build, which is again bare minimum dressing, which is also addressed as kaffani in this case. Now, the writer is trying to paint a picture of what is going on over there, and he is now holding the peg of the handmill. So we already spoke, handmill had like a sort of a stick and two stones. Now he's holding the peg of the handmill, and then he takes a fan and he sows the wheat, and then like basically the idea of taking a fan and sowing the wheat is so that the husk can be separated and the good wheat remains. And now he takes the wheat in the fill of hand, he puts it in the grinder, and now he is grinding the stone. Okay. I thought, the writer now says, I thought what business Baba had with grinding of wheat when he possessed nothing and sorted nothing, as he lived on alms, which is right, exactly what we spoke. That why is even Shirdi Sai Baba grinding wheat when there is no known family living with him, when he's not pre-planning his meals, like monthly meals, let me grind meals and then plan everything and I have to go for a job. Nothing of that sort is happening. And he lived on alms. Lived on alms means essentially on bare minimum and on bhiksha, the writer means. Some people who had come there thought likewise. So people who are bystanders are also thinking similarly. But none had the courage to ask Baba what he was doing. Of course, no one really asked him, like, what are you planning to do? Because why would someone intervene? It's his wheat, his mill, he is doing it. So of what, people of course are curious, because Shirdi Sai Baba is living a public life and not a private life in his house. And of course what he does is also influencing the people of Shirdi. So definitely people are curious about it. However, no one's really asking him that what is he doing. But definitely people are thinking and they're curious about what's going on. Immediately, this news of Baba grinding wheat spread into the village. And at once, men and women ran to the masjid and flocked there to see Baba's act. So, of course, there was a lot of word of mouth in the ancient times. We are talking about 1910. And that time, a lot of people then heard that Shirdi Sai Baba has a lot of wheat and he's grinding a lot of wheat in a meal. And it spread through the village. So now a lot of people have come to visit him to see what's going on. 4 bold women from the crowd forced their way up and, pushing Baba aside, forcefully took the peg or the handle into their hands. So basically they've kind of now told Baba, you leave it, we're going to do it. And now 4 women have taken the handle and now they are grinding the wheat. They sing Baba's Leelas and start grinding. At first, Baba was much enraged, obviously, like anyone. I'm doing my own business and suddenly like people come and like of course they've done it out of goodwill. They've done it out of thinking that, oh, Shri Sai Baba is working so hard, let us help him. However, these women could have actually asked, saying, hey, Shri Sai Baba, can I please help you grind the wheat? You might get tired, and we are four powerful women, hoping to help you and do some seva. However, they took the handle from Sai Baba and they started grinding it, and they were singing Shirdi Sai Baba's Leelas. Of course, at first Baba was enraged, but on seeing the women's love and devotion, he much pleased and began to smile. Of course, like sometimes we feel enraged on people's actions. However, when we see the intent of people, we tend to forget that rage and we start also enjoying the process. So likewise, Shirdi Sai Baba is also enjoying the process now. While they were grinding, they began to think that Baba had no house, no property, no children, none to look after, and he lived on alms, and therefore he did not require any flour for making bread or roti. What will he do with this large quantity of flour, which is fair? Any sane person in their sane mind would exactly think the same thing, that Shirdi Sai Baba has no family, no future planning of pre-planning. He does not make his own roti, he is not making his bread. So then why such large quantities of flour is getting ground? Fair point, right? Perhaps as Baba is very kind, he will distribute the flour amongst us. Okay, fair. So there is a certain assumption right now that the women have made in the lieu of helping Shirdi Sai Baba. So I sense a lot of, I am helping you because anyways you're going to give this to me kind of energy. Perhaps as Baba is very kind, he'll distribute the flour amongst us. Thinking in this way, and while singing, they finished the grinding, and after putting the hand mill aside, they divided the flour into 4 portions and began to remove them by taking 1 portion per head. Oh, so now what these women have done, they already thought that Baba is going to give it to them. They forcibly took it from Baba of grinding, and now even without his permission, they have taken the wheat after grinding it and they've divided it into 4 portions, saying, you take this, you take this, you take this, and I will take this. Okay, beautiful. So, definitely any sane person in their right mind is going to lose their mind, because Shirdi Sai Baba gave them the benefit of doubt. When he saw that the intent is nice, they want to help me, he was absolutely fine. He did not mind that these women did not ask permission and just snatched the handle from him. And now the audacity of these women, that they've even not asked for permission of someone else's property and divided it amongst themselves already, because they thought it was their birthright, and they of course gave in their free labor, but that labor was with their own free will. No one asked for it. Baba, who was quiet and calm up till now, got wild and started abusing them, saying, ladies, have you gone mad? Whose father's property are you looting away? Have I borrowed any wheat from you so that you can safely take the flour? Which is a fair question to ask. Did he borrow the wheat from them? No. Now do this. Take the flour and throw it on the village borders. On hearing this, the women felt abashed and, whispering amongst themselves, went to the outskirts of the village and spread the flour as directed by Baba. Now you might be thinking, what on earth is really going on? And okay, all of this dramatics and theatrics is over, where the women actually were dividing the wheat and Baba got really upset. Now Shirdi Sai Baba has given them clear instructions and also kind of explained one very important thing, that you cannot take something that does not belong to you, because originally the wheat did not belong to them. So which means there was absolutely no contribution in the wheat or the wheat flour by the women other than their forced contribution of grinding the wheat, right? Now Shri Sai Baba has told them, please take the wheat and go spread it on all the corners of the village border. Now anyone's going to be surprised that why are they spreading the wheat on the village borders? It's something to eat. And also there's a story in a story in a story, and this is getting very interesting, right? Okay. Now I asked the Shirdi people, what was that the Baba did? They replied that as cholera epidemic was spreading in the village, this was Baba's remedy for the same. Strange, isn't it? It was not the wheat that was ground, but cholera itself was ground to pieces and pushed out of the village. Now, this whole point is very interesting. People might think that this is illiteracy. People might think that what on earth is going on? Like how, first of all, you're wasting wheat, which is supposed to be eaten. Second of all, how can a illness, a sickness, which is cholera, which should be actually taken away with modern medicine or even herbal medicine? A lot of people don't even believe in herbal medicine. So a lot of this cholera should have been taken care of by American standard modern medication developed by science. Now what's going on? Like you're grinding wheat which was supposed to be eaten, and now you tell people go spread this on the territory of the village, and it's also saying that cholera is being ground in the wheat. This is layer on a layer and a layer, right? So essentially what I understand is a lot of illness or sickness that comes to us as humans comes to the energy body first, right? Science also recognizes the energy body today. There are a lot of cameras that have been developed which, when taken the picture of a human being, will actually showcase the whole energy body of the human being or a living being, even the plants. Even Bose did an experiment where he proved that plants can think, feel, cry, laugh, be happy, grow. So they understand, they process things, they have a mind of their own, right? So emotions can be felt by plants as well. So now, it has been proved by science that energy body exists and disease comes to the energy body first. And also to get slightly deeper into this, like how does disease come to a human being? It also believes that a lot of our karma brings us a lot of disease, and a lot of our karma is connected to our energy body, right? So essentially what I understand right now is Shri Sai Baba is grinding a lot of karma of people of Shirdi so that cholera does not hit the village. This is my understanding. Now this reads, from this time onward, the cholera epidemic subsided and the people of the village were happy. I was much pleased to know all of this, but at the time my curiosity was also aroused. I began to ask myself, what earthly connection was there between wheat flour and cholera? Which is fair, we asked the same question and we discussed the same. What was the causal relationship between the two and how to reconcile them? The incident seems to be inexplicable, I should write something on this and sing to my heart's content Baba's sweet Leelas. Thinking in this way about this Leela, my heart was filled with joy, and I was thus inspired to write Baba's life, the Sai Satcharitra. And as we know, with Baba's grace and blessings, this work was successfully accomplished, says the writer. Now, philosophical significance of grinding. Apart from the meaning which people of Shirdi put on this incident of grinding wheat, there is, we think, a philosophical significance too. Baba lived in Shirdi for about 60 years, and during this long period, he did the business of grinding almost every day. Not, however, wheat alone, but the sins, the mental and the physical afflictions, and the miseries of his innumerable devotees. What does the writer mean by sins? How do you define sin? What does the writer mean by the mental and the physical affliction or misery of his innumerable devotees? Okay, let's think about it. Let me give you an example. Sin could be as small, it's a very heavy word to decode. However, sin could be as small as there was a dog who was on the street who came to ask for food. He was hungry, and we are all coexisting in this world. Instead of giving food to the dog, I kicked the dog and I abused the dog, and I said, "Oh my God, what a filthy dog. This dog does not deserve any food. Get away." This is wrong on so many levels. A, there was verbal harassment. B, there was physical harassment. C, there was psychological harassment. I thought so much bad about the dog and I character assassinated the dog. C, we already studied and understood that God lives in every living being and every being who's breathing on this earth. So, if we believe that we were supposed to offer something to God, why not offer little food to the dog? And if you don't have the food to give, don't give it. But don't physically, mentally, emotionally harass the dog. Now that is creating karma. That is creating karma on 3 levels. Karma on the physical level, karma on the emotional level, karma on the psychological level. That is where we were also talking about speech. Saraswati sits on your speech. So that, I believe, in Hinduism is called a sin. The mental and the physical afflictions. Now, what does the writer mean about mental affliction? Mental affliction could be as simple as, oh, she got a new job? How could she get a new job? I know she was not worth it. Oh, how did that person earn so much money? Maybe they stole the money. It's not worth it. They were never so good at earning money or making financial decisions. Or something like, oh, why is this person looking more prettier than me? Why does this person has more goodwill than me? So looking at everything from the lens of jealousy, comparison, thinking that the other person does not deserve it, superiority complex, or so many, like there are so many mental levels of afflictions that humans have, right? I mean, this is just the surface I'm trying to touch. Physical afflictions, like people are born with a lot of physical pain, and people also go through a lot of physical pain. So it is believed that Shri Sai Baba would actually grind away a lot of mental and physical and emotional afflictions of people and sins and their karmas. The two stones of his mill consisted of karma and bhakti. So, one part of the stone has been called karma that we as human beings do on this planet Earth because our soul reincarnated, karma that we do in everyday life, karma through our speech, karma through our physical and emotional actions, karma through our psychological actions. We create a lot of karma on everyday basis. In my further readings, I will also give certain examples of karmas and try and help the viewers decode karma in the modern lifestyle that we live in this era of AI. So, karma could be as simple as going to torrent and downloading a movie or a video illegally, which a person should have ideally paid for. That is also karma. That's a karma of stealing. Or karma could be as simple as lying, because the court believes that till the time there is no evidence, uh, there is no there is no real crime that has happened, right? Connecting to the crime. However, if the person with the with their own intelligence prove it that they did not do the crime, even after doing the crime, that is a bigger karma that the person is creating, the karma of deceiving, the karma of deceit, right? So that's also another form of karma that a person is creating. Or let's talk about good karmas. Now, a karma of maybe someone wanted a job and you created a referral for that person. So essentially, you created a good karma by supporting someone in moving forward in life. Or say you mentored someone into having a better life or looking at their situation from a different lens. That is good karma. Maybe, say for example, we as humans, we went to a temple, or not even a temple, let's talk about everyday things. Someone dropped their diamond ring on a trail that you were walking at, and there are two choices as a human being that we could have done. A, pick it up, give it to them, saying, hey, you dropped it, please take it back, I found it for you. Or B, I would keep it in my own pocket because I felt there were no cameras, no one saw me, and I can keep it. Technically, that's stealing and you're creating bad karma there. But the good karma would have been just to pick it up and return it to the person, right? Or even if you found something, give it in lost and found and not take it home because you did not buy it righteously. So that would be good karma. So it is believed that Shri Sai Baba would ground people's karmas in that wheat mill. So, like I already said, storytelling is essentially breaking simpler, complex topics into more smaller forms and more palatable content. The handle with which Baba worked the mill consisted of dhyan. It was the firm conviction of Shirdi Sai Baba that knowledge or self-realization is not possible unless there is the prior act of grinding of all impurities, desires, sins, and of three gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama, and the Ahankar, which is so subtle and therefore so difficult to get rid of. This is very important that we talk about what is the essence of this chapter that we were reading. So Shri Sai Baba is saying that the knowledge of self, who is the self? Self is the reincarnated soul which reincarnated from the higher soul, and the higher soul which reincarnated and which is a portion of God which came to this earth to experience the life on this earth, learn, go back to the reincarnated soul, and then come back again and reincarnate. And of course, we've done a lot of karmas in our past lives because Hinduism believes in rebirth. So it is saying that the knowledge or self-realization, who am I? So there is a prayer which says, I am the child of God. I am that I am. The mind is just an instrument of the body to function and think. I am the soul. I am the soul which reincarnated from the higher soul, and the higher soul which is a part of God. I am a child of God. I am that I am. I can find it on internet and read it for you so that we talk about this topic a little more in detail. When we talk about the soul and what is the interpretation of this, right? So when I open Wikipedia, it says I am that I am. It's a Hebrew Bible and Old Testament concept use of I am in the Gospel of John, right? So according to Hebrew Bible, in the encounter of burning bush, Moses asked, he is to say to the Israelis, when they ask what God have sent him to them, replies, I am who I am. Say this to the people, I am has sent me to you. So it is also called the soul affirmation, and it has been written by Grandmaster Chua Say, and I read it while I was learning pranic healing. The soul affirmation says, I am that I am. I am not the body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thoughts. I am not the mind. The mind is just a subtle instrument of the soul. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. I am one and connected to my higher soul. I am that I am. I am one with the divine spark within me. We always say that the God lives within us. I am a child of God. I am connected to God. I am rooted in God. I am one in God, and I'm one with all. So when we say that God lives in every human being, this is also a saying that we are spiritually all connected. Everyone who's present on this earth is actually spiritually connected to each other. And I believe that is where when C.B. Satpathy ji said that the fifth race of humanity will be in a position to communicate mind to mind, I believe the fifth race of humanity is going to be the race that is going to realize God and which is going to go into self realization. And that is when they'll be in a position to talk to each other via their mind. And of course, AI is also going to make it possible too, when you look at it from the lens of science, right? So essentially, this is what we were talking, that the knowledge of self realization is not possible unless the prior grinding of impulses. We are all very impulse as human beings. We can do everything and anything in a moment. And also our desires. We are a very desireful human being. We desire that, oh God, can I please go to Empire State Building today? Can I go to Eiffel Tower today? Oh, I need maybe 100 billion rupees because I need 5 big condos here, I big 10 big condos there. I want a vacation home. I want to travel to Rome. I want to look at the scriptures. Or we are such desirable human beings, right? Like, oh, I want to look so beautiful. I want to make Instagram content. I want to appear amazing in my Instagram content. I want to be the biggest content creator. Our sins, and of 3 gunas, which is Sattva, Raja and Tama. So there is also a verse in the Shirdi Sai Baba Arati which says Sattva, Raja, Tama, Pavali. So it also says that Sai Baba, the Shirdi Sai Baba, who's the Satguru, would help you kind of fight through all 3 of it. Now, when we say Sattva, Sattva means purity. It represents balance and harmony. It's the state of being free from ignorance and attachment, leading to clarity and peace. So essentially, we as human beings, we are very attached to the whole idea of things, idea of relationships, idea of belongingness. So there's a lot of attachment in our life, like as simple as, oh, I love this cup and someone broke it and I'm feeling sad about it. Now that's attachment with things, non-living things. Similarly, a friend of mine said something to me and I might feel hurt and I might cry. Again, that's attachment there in the form of friendship. And attachment with your parents, attachments with your siblings, with your spouses, with your kids. And a lot of karma or decisions we as human take are under the influence of attachment. And also I believe attachment and ignorance goes hand in hand. Ignorance about the truth of who really we are and what we are really doing on this planet Earth and what is our journey like, right? So that is Sattva. Rajas is associated with the activity, passion and desire. So essentially the action form of our life, the passions of our life. There are people who are passionate about paintings. There are people who are passionate about fruits, flowers, chocolates. People who are passionate about alcohol. People are passionate about drugs. Desires. People are passionate about different genders. People have desires of deep-rooted desires of gaining or getting something in life. So these are deeper psychological emotions. Those are called rajas. It is characterized by a dynamic and a restless nature, often leading to a pursuit of constant change and new experiences, right? Tamas is inertia and darkness. It represents a state of dullness and confusion where one may be bound by ignorance and attachment to material desires. So tamas is basically the state of darkness where the spiritual light is kind of shining but it's not seeping into you, and it also leads to sattva. So actually these 3 are connected into each other, right? So Shirdi Sai Baba is also saying that the handle with which Shirdi Sai Baba worked the mill consists of dhyana. It was the firm conviction of Baba that knowledge or self-realization is not possible unless there is prior act of grinding of all our impulses, desires, sins. and of three gunas, which is Sattva, Raja, Tama, that we spoke about, and Ahankar. Ahankar is the biggest one, which is ego in subtle form, because Sattva, Raja, Tama, everything supports ego, and it is subtle in nature, and that is why it is very difficult to get rid of. This reminds us of a similar story of Kabir, who, seeing a woman grinding corn, said to his guru, Nipt Niranjan, I am weeping because I feel the agony of being crushed under this wheel of worldly existence. Like the corn in the handmill, Niptaranjan said, do not be afraid. Hold fast to the handle of knowledge of this mill. I do, and do not wander far away from the same, but turn inward to the center, and you are sure to be saved. Bow to Shirdi Sai, peace be to all.